Welcome back to the March edition of Conversations with Archbishop Kurtz. It's a delight to have you back, and also a delight to welcome a friend, Father Martin Linebach. Father Martin, thank you for your presence here.
Good morning, Archbishop. How are you today?
I'm great, and I thank you for being here. Let me say a little word to our audience about you. Father Martin was appointed and began last month as the new Vicar General for the Archdiocese of Louisville. This was an occasion because of the new bishop in Nashville. Bishop Mark Spalding, of course, served for 6 years as the Vicar General, and so we're really delighted that you said yes to serving as Vicar General. Father Martin was ordained to the priesthood in 1987, and so is now, having finished your 30th anniversary, you're now working on your 4th decade.
Hopefully more years to come.
Exactly, exactly. And of the many things you've done, I know you and I worked very closely in your role as the Archdiocesan Officer for Ecumenical and Interfaith Relations.
Correct.
And of course served in many capacities, but most recently as pastor of St. Patrick, and then as pastor now of St. James Church in Elizabethtown in Hardin County. So welcome, and thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thanks so much.
Well, listen, what's on everybody's mind is what's a Vicar General? So let's talk a little bit about that.
I had to answer that question myself.
Exactly. What rises to the surface for you?
Well, I had to make just a little bit of a joke with the folks at St. James Elizabethtown, because we're close to Fort Knox, that don't worry, I'm not joining the Army.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's right. They're
general.
Thinking in terms of generals.
So I
of the
paid
Army.
attention and actually reflected and prayed a bit about the official decree that came, and to speak about the role of the Vicar General being your principal delegate. So I thought about what does that mean to me personally and pastorally? And 2 words came to me. One is to support your ministry as the chief shepherd, as the Archbishop for the Archdiocese, and then secondly to promote. You know, as we grow in faith and look to the future, what might be important. I never really like to use the word strategic plans for the Church. To me, they're more pastoral plans because we move forward with the heart of Christ. So that support is to look really at the threefold ministry that belongs to you, which is teaching, sanctifying, and governing. And I see the word governing all over the place when it's referred to Vicar General. But I think that is in the planning for the Archdiocese. How are we going to meet the needs of the people, the good people of the Archdiocese, as we look down the road for the next several years, for however long you would like for me to have this position. And then that sense of promote, remember, and it's always good for us to remind ourselves, what you say frequently, is that the Archdiocese is going to be healthy if the parishes are healthy.
Well, you're absolutely right. And I think you've given us a good insight into what a Vicar General is. The word vicar, of course, is to stand in the place of another. So many people here where there's the pastor and there's the parochial vicar, the one who stands and assists the pastor. So thank you for doing that. I count on your good advice. There's many ways in which the Church gives good counsel, but the Vicar General has a special role in that, so I thank you for that. I thank you sometimes publicly for being present in my absence, and also I think in a special way being an ear. Especially a number of our priests, sometimes they need permissions for this or that pastoral duty, and they'll be calling you in the middle of the night instead of me, maybe. So I'm grateful for your willingness to do this.
Well, I was humbled and a little surprised that you asked me. You know, the information about what the Church talks about and describes as the role of the Vicar General is there's a canon law piece to that, if you will,
Sure.
and neither one of us are. And you gave me great comfort to saying, you know, when I became a bishop, I was thought about that, and that has not been an inhibition to you. So I don't think
the
an
formal
inhibition
training.
to me.
I think you and I know more about canon law than we think we do. So I wouldn't want to give a false impression. But you're right. There's not a formal degree. You're absolutely right. Listen, let's talk a little bit more about yourself, though. You became a priest, obviously, in 1987. Tell us just in a nutshell, what's your story? When did you first feel that call to the priesthood?
Thank you. People who get to know me know my little dry sense of humor, so behind that I say a little bit tongue-in-cheek that I'll do anything to get to heaven. But I share with folks when I was at St. James and St. Patrick and the other parishes that I've been privileged to be a part of, that as a priest, but more importantly as a pastor, I really do, in really simple words, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, my role is really to help you get to heaven. Yeah. And then I make a little joke and to say, and if I can get you there, my chances are a little higher too.
That's very good. When did you first feel the call, though? How old were you?
I was in early high school, and I think it gives credence to the importance of parish life. I did go to Catholic elementary school, but then I went to public high school. And it was really parish life that started me thinking and listening. And it was the role of my pastors first. I thought, you know, they seem to be so content. There's a serenity, but there's also a joy. I still, believe it or not, in high school remember a couple of homilies that touched me. And I thought, I want to be...
This is good for people who are listening to hear that it's amazing the different ways in which God can touch our lives through a homily, etc. And one of the things that you bring also as the Vicar General is a rich experience of pastoral life, don't you? So tell us a little bit, because as people will know, being a Vicar General is not your full-time occupation. If anything, your primary role in a day-to-day basis will continue to be the pastor of St. James in Elizabethtown. I'm thrilled that you are both Vicar General, but also continuing to reside and serve within Hardin County. How do you see that as beneficial from your viewpoint?
It was interesting to me when shared the news with parishioners at St. James that, wow, there was just a sense of great, almost pride, and oh gosh, maybe we are significant and important. I don't think anybody ever questioned that, but it's a good reminder. Not only in Elizabethtown, but in Hardin County, I just love the term. It's referred to as the heartland of Kentucky. Right. So to kind of understand and just remind ourselves that, oh my gosh, you know, the Archdiocese is a diverse, wide, even geographic part of the consistency of the Archdiocese. And it was my first time when I went to St. James as pastor, when you asked me to do that. It was my first time to serve in a parish outside of Jefferson County. So I've learned a lot. There's a richness and a beauty. I always share with the folks that the diversity at St. James is really, really beautiful.
That's great. That is great. And you know, let me just say this. We're running out of time now, but I think we've caught the essential. Thank you, Father Martin, first of all, for serving as Vicar General and also as pastor at St. James in E-Town. Thanks also for the care and wisdom and pastoral heart that you bring. We're really very grateful for it.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. It's my pleasure to be with you and to serve the folks of the Archdiocese.
And I want to thank each and every one of you for in the viewing audience for your presence. And please now stay tuned for the third edition of Conversations with Archbishop Kurtz. God bless you.